Now, let me ask you a question, just Mike. Just Mike, what is the best advice you can give to somebody that's in a single space right now, but maybe feels pressure to get in a relationship before they're ready to?
Uh, you're single now, and you feel like you're pressured to get in a relationship, but they don't want to. Shit, don't. What do you tell
Yeah.
somebody? I mean, like when I was pressured to go to school, my grades weren't as good. When I was pressured to go to church, I wasn't receiving the word. When I was pressured to go to an event, I took my shoes off and went to bed. um, anything that you do that's not done naturally is going to be done with content. It's going to be done with hesitation. It's not going to be done with your full heart. And I don't care how ready a person is for you. If you're not ready for it or for them, then take the time, Like, I don't understand what people's, fixation is on that ownership piece, Like, if I can call you and you can answer and we can build, that's enough. It's like, nah, I don't want anybody else to build with us. Or it's even the thought of that, right? Because I don't care if I'm in a relationship with a woman or not. If I only want to talk to her, she's the only one I'm talking to, right? If I want to be loyal and honest to a person, I don't need this makeshift wedding without a ring or a dress or a commitment from God to make me want to move like that. I move like that because that's how I want to move. So anybody who has your attention but wants the relationship still is controlling. And I mean, that's an early sign. Or either controlling or they're in a rush. Sometimes people want things and not people, bro. You might meet a person who's like, I want to be in a relationship. Do you want to be in a relationship or do you want to be in a relationship with me? Right? A lot of people don't want people. They want things.
Dang. Woo!
Man, cut it out, bro. Cut it out.
Hey, hey, so listen, so I'm gonna give you a brief story. So today I had a coaching call, man, and it was with a young lady, man, beautiful spirit. And she's been in and out of relationships for 5 years. I mean, leave one, get into another one, leave one, get into another one, so on and so forth. So now she's in a relationship with somebody, and they've been talking for like a month. They've been out on like 4 dates, and they text every day, and she still feels like that's not enough. Um, and when I was talking to her, kind of diving deeper into it, I kind of asked her, I said, what is there missing inside of you that you're trying to feel? Like, I feel like a lot of times we get into these relationships over and over and over again because we are looking for something to feel inside ourselves that we can't by ourselves. And it's not that we're looking for companionship, but a lot of times we feel lonely when we're alone. And I think that that's something that I wish more people would really like sit down and kind of contemplate prior to getting into a relationship is, yo, are you getting in a relationship for the correct reasons? Are you getting in a relationship for what you also can bring to the table, which you can give? Like, you got so much love for yourself, you can't hold no more. So now you got a little over that you can give and give to somebody else. Are you getting in a relationship for a selfish reason? Because maybe you are lacking the love you should have for yourself. Maybe you don't have the motivation to fix those flaws that you have within yourself. So now you need help to fix your problems. There's all sorts of reasons why I think people are tempted to get in relationships, even though they don't have the skills necessary to maintain them. And that's why I said at the top, I know the other video probably deleted and y'all ain't gonna be able to watch it because it's gone. But I really want to encourage everybody that's watching right now to really dive into yourself and see if the reason you are requiring somebody to love you and making them and forcing it so hard when it's not a natural fit, is it because you're too afraid to go to the mirror the day afterwards and realize that they're no longer in your life? Are you too afraid to let go of somebody? Because if you do, you're going to be there looking at yourself by yourself. So I think too many people are afraid to be alone.
Yeah.
So You know what I mean? It's just how it is. Mike, I got a couple more questions for you.
Let's get it.
Let's see. I think I seen one. Let's see, where we at? Will a guy be swayed to get more involved with a woman because his friends are also insisting he do so? Or will he act from his heart and not do it because of the pressures?
That was different. I feel like I feel like man, there ain't a homie in my phone book that's gonna make me talk to a girl, you know? Like, I think it's the evolution of male maturity, right? It's like, now back in the day, all it took was for us standing by a locker and a PYT walk past, and it's like, damn, yo, get her, dog. You know, it's like, yeah, she nice. Mike, go get her, right? Or when I used to walk around with like a pen, 3 pens, and a bunch of pieces of paper with my number already written down. You know what I mean? And it's like, all right, I pick, you pull kind of thing, right? That's child's play, right? I think that a man's, the first move in anything serious is a man's attitude, like that conquering him, right? You know, I don't need to be nudged. I'm a conqueror, man. A hunter, right? Classic. So you gotta remember that. You gotta wait for that. You know, a woman's only obligation is just sit there and be a woman. And the man for you will come find you, and there won't be no hesitation, no encouragement, no motivation. He's gonna get what he wants because he wants it.
Hey, Mike, I just seen a good question, man. I think I gotta tackle it real quick. The question was, why are most men afraid of strong women?
Why are most men afraid of strong women? You want it first? Go ahead, get it first.
Yeah, let me tackle it. So what I would say is, look, I don't want to say most men, because I happen to have a little bit of optimism when it comes to my male gender. However, some men are. Some men will be repelled by your strength, and they will make it seem like it's a weakness for you. And because it has nothing really to do with you, but sometimes when they have some type of insecurity with their manhood, they want you to make them feel like a man. Like, for real, let me open this jar for you. You know, certain things make men feel like men when they're not men and confident in their manhood themselves. So what I would say is, I can't speak for all men, but what I can speak for is confident men. Confident men, secure men, strong men appreciate a strong woman that can bring things to the table. Because you got to understand, this relationship that we are building will become a team. And there will be times where I need you to shoot the shot. You know what I'm saying? Or if you need me to shoot the shot. You want a strong contributor on this team, and so should he. However, people that are more ego-driven, pride-driven, don't really want you to do better than them. And that's just like friends and anybody in life. They want to see you shine, just not as much as they shine.
Yeah,
and sometimes that competitive spirit that men have, when you know, we're driven by ambition and competitiveness, sometimes that leaks inside our relationships. So when you're getting that promotion and things are going well for you, sometimes they feel that hate, that jealousy inside their heart. And so I just think it's important for you to realize that if somebody is being repelled by your strength, that's not that's a blessing, because you are avoiding potential problems down the line. There are 1,000 guys lining up to have that strength. Now, what I will say before I toss it to Mike is, we also got to be careful. You know what I'm saying? Like, men and women alike. We got to not let our qualities make us conceited. You know what I'm saying? Overly boastful. You know what I'm saying? That's men and women alike. Nobody want accomplishments rubbed in the other person's face. Right. So we got to just make sure, if we're being strong, we don't have to necessarily, you know, rub it in another person's face. But I think if that strength is held, you know, in an appropriate manner, displayed like it should be, obviously put on the shelf because it's something to be valued. I think that any person that appreciates a strong teammate would appreciate you. But what I will say is don't let the few people that have been repelled by your independent nature make you paint the whole gender of men that way. Because a lot of us appreciate strong women.
Yeah, well, I'm gonna be transparent because I don't have no problem with it. Like when I first started becoming just Mike the poet or whatever, right? Like there was women that I dated who like surpassed me like maybe 3, 4 times, 5 times what I made as an up and coming poet. You know, this was like 2012, 2013. Like, you know, I used to travel the country, man, the world really, and I used to meet some fire women. And then, you know, Instagram puts anybody at your fingertips, right? So I used to date this one girl, and she was like, she was younger than me, but like she was killing it, like on the hair and that whole thing, right? So, I mean, there was a point when like the move she was making, like I couldn't fund them all, you know? Like I'm not gonna buy a girl a Chanel if she got a whole bunch of MK and Coach in her closet, right? But if this your 5th Chanel, it's a different type of conversation, right? And I don't ever make I mean, I know material things, I'm just using it as an example. I know material things are like, you know, superfluous, but that's what she wanted, and I felt like it was my opportunity to give it to her. And when I realized that if I did that for her for Christmas, she probably couldn't get much else, when I know she was gonna drop a bag on me, I immediately wanted to break up with the girl because of that financial insecurity. And that was the first time I had ever experienced that. I've taken care of every other woman I've dated my entire life. And then I met this one girl, and it was like the role was reversed. But when I saw her grace, like, you know, there's a lot of women with bags, and they not even checking for a cat if they don't got no real paper, you know? It's like if I'm getting money, my man got to get money, et cetera, et cetera. But when I watched like how graceful and gracious, like she would still wake up in the middle of the night and go get me food. She was still, you know what I mean? Like there's different ways. And when I noticed that, right, I was like, man, I'm still gonna stay. Like, you know, if I can watch her make me still feel like a man, why can't I do it myself? And that was like a teaching moment in my relationship. And I mean, it's real though. Like women in business, especially, you know, their own business, you know, they're running laps around your average guy, you know. So you're gonna get a lot of that power shift from, you know, even our parents and grandparents' times where chicks is out earning this. So it's definitely gonna require for a new breed of man that hasn't really been established yet, you know. It hasn't really been a thing yet. It's like I know many guys that would rather take a less powerful woman who can make them feel more masculine because, you know, they're the breadwinner and they're the dominant, you know what I mean? But there's a lot of women on this certain tax bracket in this certain sphere that might humble themselves to a man in his financial situation, but they can't even do it themselves. And that's tough for them. And I just say a prayer for them.
Oof. Hey, you dropping gems today, man. That's some deep. And I know everybody that was commenting is like, yo, we appreciate the transparency. But it is a real thing. You know what I'm saying? I've personally never really been in haven't been in a relationship in a while. I've been single all my 20s basically. You know what I'm saying? So I haven't really encountered that. But I can imagine. Like I can only imagine. Because it's like I can only imagine. So let's tackle, man, and before we tackle this, I want to say like thank you so much for joining. I know you got some upcoming tour dates, so everybody make sure you go to Just Mike the Poet and check out his Instagram page. You follow him, and then also check him out in the city near you. He will also be in New York with us, Stefan, Derek, myself, and K Love. So if you in New York City, I know you got a show there. So check out his page, and if you're coming to the Self Love Summit, you would check him out there. So let's do one more question. I'm gonna pick one from the questions that we had earlier. And
yo, am I froze, bro?
Say it again.
Am I froze?
Nah, you good.
Okay. I can't see
Yeah, I
nothing.
think you good. Let's see. You know what? Nah, I got one for you, just Mike. So, if you are not in a relationship with a lady, right? If you're not in a relationship with her, is the expectation for you to communicate with her on a daily basis?
Say that again, slow.
So like you feel it, you and a young lady, you're dating, you hanging out, kicking it here and there or whatever. Y'all not in a relationship. You're not official or whatever. You feeling her, she feeling you.
Mm-hmm.
Would you feel obligated, or would you feel like there's an expectation for you two to communicate on a daily basis? And if that communication doesn't happen, how would you feel, or do you feel like it's abnormal?
I think I don't operate with restrictions, and I don't do well with expectations when they require me to have certain restrictions or stuff like that. Boyfriend and girlfriend turns option into obligation, and that's one of the reasons why I don't like it. When we're dating, every interaction is optional. But once we're in a relationship, they become obligatory. Oh, you ain't text me today? Oh, you're not coming over? What you mean you're going out? Turns option into obligation. And when you turn option into obligation, you don't get to see where people's genuine vibe is, right? Like when I was obligated to clean my room, my mother wasn't, I didn't get those, oh, your room looks so nice type of reactions from her because I was obligated to clean my room, right? But when you remove the obligation and you see what people want to do, like that line say, let people do what they want to do so you can see what they rather do, right? Same kind of concept. So a lot of times people will try to put you in a relationship without even being in a relationship, So any woman who I deal with who puts that requirement on me, that obligation to be, oh, you got to call me every day. Well, maybe I don't need to call you at all because, a lot of people forget that dating is just a long interview process, right? And at any moment you cannot get a call back, and I don't owe you an explanation as to why you didn't get the job. Until I put a ring on your finger, it's just a long interview process because that's what you're doing. We're not out here. We're trying to tie toes. We're trying to tie souls. Like that's where I'm at with relationships. I'm looking for the relationship. I'm looking for the person that I can sleep with unprotected, who I can give a child to, and I can wake up with every day of my life. If I want a cuddle buddy or a snack, I go to 7-Eleven. You feel me? So,
yes, sir.
So the rules are different. The rules are different because I'm not moving like I need a Lil Renner situation or a Miami chick or a West Coast vibe. I'm moving like I'm looking for my queen. And this is a lottery ticket I'm giving out. So everybody don't get that. Everybody don't deserve that. Everybody doesn't appreciate it. Everybody doesn't know what to do with it. If you had $1 million, would you give it to somebody who you know is going to fuck the bread up? Exactly.
Ooh, come on.
I mean, stop playing with
you know
me,
what?
Stop
nah,
playing.
Man. Hey, that was some heat. Hey, so before I get off of here, man, I want to say, like, real talk. I say this every time. The one time I saw you in Philly, so I'll say it again, man. Like, real talk. I went to a Just Mike show in Cleveland, and this was, it could have been
2014,
15, 16, one of those.
15.
And man, like the vibe was crazy, man. The way he expressed himself. And then I went to your Instagram page. I'm like, this brother doing his thing, man. And that was almost like so much of a motivating factor for me. You know what I'm saying? And had not been for me coming to that show, I would have never had the courage to get out there and actually put my memes out or my writings out or my poetry out in the way in which I did. Had it
Blessings.
not been for you, I wouldn't have had the courage to go try to book my own tours. Because prior to you, I thought somebody had to bring me to their city. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so the way I saw you was moving, man, it was such a motivating factor.
I see you, man.
And
You've
so
been doing your
although,
thing.
you know, we ain't talked often, and I feel like I know you because I studied your moves so much, and it has impacted me on a grander level.
Man,
So
that's
for
what it's
that, man,
that's what
I'm
it's there
deeply
for.
indebted, man. And I say that every single time.
That's what it's there for, bro.
Well, it's on, bro. Well, I'll see you in a few weeks, man.
Yes, sir, man. Hold it down, King. Thanks, everybody.